Okay, the title of the video is not clickbait. I find myself loving almost everything about this Wasp figure. Even more than Ant-Man. That figure was already very good. I didn't have to do much. I did make the Quantum Realm portal though. Check that video out if you're interested. Today, I'm gonna work on the Wasp. I did a video on the figures from the second Ant-Man and the Wasp movie, but I didn't do anything to that Wasp because I thought it was great already. But this one is far superior. And best of all, she's quite easy and fun to pose. Female figures are generally much harder to pose and balance due to their feet being smaller, and the range of motion is often more limited as well. But I find this Wasp to have none of those issues at all. But it doesn't mean it's perfect yet. Let's deconstruct this figure. There's an FAQ on the paint and brushes I use in the description box below. Overall, everything looks pretty screen accurate. It is missing all those thin silver lines just like Ant-Man. The yellow and blue looks jarring to me at first, but I have to say, these two colors complement each other very well. That said, the helmet is missing quite a bit of paint. The entire lower half of the mask is unpainted. But the visor, I love it. Not only can you see Hope's eyes, the plastic also makes it look like it's glowing. The unmasked head is one of the best heads I've seen. They totally captured Evangeline Lilly's likeness. I personally prefer her look from the last movie. But the shorter hairstyle looks good here, and most importantly, it doesn't get in the way when she turns her head. The wings are also nicely sculpted. I thought they were going to be smooth, but they're actually textured. I personally think this is one of the best MCU Marvel Legends figures. It is the perfect balance between a fun toy and a collectible figure. I am determined to elevate this figure even more. So, hello, this is Ken. I like making things. I like making things out of paper, and I like making things cooler. Especially my figures. Sometimes figures don't look all that screen accurate. All they need is a bit of touch up here and there to unleash their hidden potential. I also love using everyday tools and materials to recreate iconic scenes from my figures, so they can shine on my display. Subscribe to my channel and join my DIY adventure as I ask myself the same question every week. Can I make it? Let's start with the silver lines. After hours of practice last week, I feel a bit more confident with my strokes. Shorter strokes are easier and safer to do, but longer strokes will give me smoother and straighter lines. If I don't slip, that is. Just like last week, I want to avoid doing any cleanup work. If I try to clean up the lines with a wet brush, I'm just gonna spread the micro specks all over the plastic. So that means I cannot make any mistakes at all. Wish me luck. Okay, while I'm painting, I want to talk about Quantumania the movie. Rewatching it again made me realize that I wanted to see more of Hope. In the last movie, she was treated as equal to Ant-Man. Ant-Man can grow into Giant Man, but she's more agile and can fly. But in Quantumania, they stripped all of these things that made her unique, and just had her support and react to other characters. She had two cool moments in the movie, but both moments were overshadowed by other things. When she went into the engine core to help Scott, it showed that she was just as, if not more determined than Scott was. Hope honed into him and was not distracted. I thought that was really sweet, but that was kind of just brushed off. The other cool moment was when she returned to help Scott win. Pow pow, and there goes Kang. Okay, I hated that moment. Not the actual moment itself, but the entire lead up to it and how it lost all its momentum right after that. I blame the trailer. That line, "I don't have to win, we both just have to lose," set up some wild expectations, only to not live up to that hype. I feel that most people expect the heroes to somewhat lose, because that would be the perfect way to start Phase 5. But no. Okay, back to the figure for a sec. I have added all the silver details, including the lines from the boots, the belt, and the shoulder pads, and a bit on the back as well. Oh, there are some missing blue details on the torso, like that line that goes down her neck, the lines around her abs, and the lines on her forearms. It was quite challenging to look up reference images due to her lack of screen time. They underused her character so badly. You can take her out of the movie and it wouldn't affect the plot much. I understand that the MCU Wasp isn't that popular, but the character development she had in the previous movies just got thrown away in this one. If I'm not mistaken, Ant-Man and the Wasp are one of the only superhero couples in the MCU right now. It would have been awesome to see how they work together compared to other heroes. Back to the figure again. I believe I added all the missing details. Let's seal the paint with the matte spray. I'm back. I added a bit more details on the gauntlets and went over them with a glossy varnish. I can stop here, but I want the yellow to pop even more. In the movie, the yellow on her suit was more bold and vibrant, so I'm gonna mix a bit of orange into the yellow to make it lean more mango yellow and less lemon yellow, if that makes sense. I may have to do multiple layers. This yellow seems to be quite sheer. Done. Look how bold the colors look now. But it looks a bit flat. I want to add a bit more glisten to it. So I'm going to add a thin wash of this metallic yellow over it to add a bit of shine to the yellow texture. And one more coat of the matte varnish to seal everything. On to the heads. Let's start with the helmeted head first. Gotta add those silver bits back in. I kinda dig the dark grey look, but it's just not screen accurate at all. Finding reference images of the helmet was hard. The helmet was always kinda darkly lit, so it's hard to tell what's on it. But I think I got all the silver details, including the mouthpiece. Alright, next, let me add the gunmetal color to the top of the helmet to add that carbon fiber texture. And finally, a thin coat of glossy varnish over the front side of the helmet to make it nice and reflective. Oh wow, that's a night and day difference. I don't dislike the original helmet, because the matte black and the visor look really good, but it just didn't look like the Wasp helmet from the movie. On to Evangeline Lilly's head. This head is even better than the Paul Rudd head in my opinion. I want to make her cheeks a bit more red, so let me start with a thin coat of paint on her face. Now I'm going to add a bit of red to her cheeks and blend it out until it looks natural. I darken her eyelashes a bit too, and I'm also going to darken her eyebrows as well. And finally to hair. In the movie, her hair is pretty much black. I'm going to paint over the hair with a dark brown first, and then go over it with the black to darken it. That way there's a bit of depth to the hair. And to finish it off, I'm going to add strokes of glossy varnish on her hair to give her that wet hair look. Alright, the changes are minor, but she looks more screen accurate with the darker hair. Oh, I almost skipped the wings. Because her wings are always flapping, it was difficult to tell what made them glow, but I believe there's a yellow stripe on each of her wings. So let me do the backside first to see if it looks right. Not bad. Let me quickly do the rest. The backside looks good, but it's not glowing the way I thought it would be. Let me try this. I'm gonna wet my brush and add a wash of orange around the edges to give it that glowing gradient effect. Alright, here we go. That turned out really cool. I ended up doing the front side as well, and I think it's perfect. Here's Wasp all finished. The original figure was great, but the painted one is close to perfect in my opinion. The new yellow is so much nicer. The colors are now vibrant and bold, but the suit still looks believable and not like a children's toy. The wings though, I can't express how much I love the wings. It's hard to tell on camera, but the glowing effect turned out really good. It's quite subtle and not that obvious, but it captured that energy glow effect quite nicely. And the helmet. It's awesome. 10 times better than Ant-Man's. Love how it turned out. And those eyes behind the visor still look unreal to me. Overall, this figure looks like a high-end collectible figure. It looks like the miniature version of the real Evangeline Lilly in the Wasp costume. And it came with just enough accessories for it to be a fun toy. The 2 heads, the wings, and the extra hands make swapping around accessories very enjoyable. And that is why I had that tangent earlier about the movie. When I was rewatching it, I realized Hope was the character I was looking forward to most to. And it's extra disappointing when I find out just how good and fun this figure is. Wasp isn't my favorite MCU character by the long shot. That spot still belongs to Wanda. But the Wanda figures are quite restricted when it comes to poses. Not for the Wasp though. She's not one of those statue figures where they only look good in one pose. Oh, and that pin particles effect I made before? It works on this figure as well. That is why this figure is currently my favorite MCU figure. And I highly recommend it if you're a fan of the Ant-Man and the Wasp. These two look perfect together. The colors complement each other so well. Okay, I'm gonna say it. This figure is perfect. Love it so much. Okay, let's end this for the photo shoot. There's just something about the engineering of this figure. Hope can pull off believable basic poses. You know how some figures just can't seem to stand like a normal person? The Wasp does not have that issue at all. She looks natural in almost all angles. The Evangeline Lilly head is great. The expression on her face convey a range of emotions. She looks serious in some angles, but there's also a bit of smile to it. And there's hint of concern on her face as well. It's pretty cool. Speaking of cool, the helmeted and wing look is also just as good. This design is underrated, I feel. It's so well done. What do you think? Do you like what I've done to the Wasp? Let me know down below. You know what I was thinking the other day? If they really wanted Kang to lose in the movie, they should have let Hank and Janet do the final blow. Especially Janet, since she was the one responsible for Kang's resurgence in a way. So here's my pitch. No one leaves through the portal. All of them stay behind to fight Kang. Cassie is the first one down because she's the least experienced. Scott and Hope double teams Kang, but Kang is still too powerful. So in the last-ditch effort, they remove their suits and pass them to Hank and Janet, the original Ant-Man and the Wasp. And all 4 of them team up and fight Kang together. That way, at least it's 4 against 1. And Hank and Janet can get their moment as well before they retire. And Cassie can learn about teamwork and apply it in future movies. That to me would have been a better ending. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm going to be working on the new No Way Home figures next, so stay tuned for that. And as always, stay inspired and I'll see you soon. I can make it, so can you.